Boys as young as 12 might be asked if they are pregnant in latest woke language storm to engulf health services.
Excuse me. Huh? What? The fuck did you just say?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Oh my god. A poster on the walls of a hospital in Scotland also refers to biological women and girls as people with internal reproductive organs. Yeah, they're not women and girls, you're just a person with a vagina. Experts said the messaging was dreadful, thank you, and failed the basic principles of clear health communication and biology. The poster at NHS Tayside says anyone aged between 12 and 55 should be asked if they are pregnant, irrespective of gender, before undergoing examinations where they are exposed to radiation. Or you can just follow biology and only ask if females are pregnant, but anyway. A picture of the poster uploaded to Twitter reads, irrespective of your gender, you may be asked to complete a form of pregnancy before some examinations. It is our legal responsibility to establish whether there is possibility of pregnancy before exposure to ionizing radiation as a fetus is at a higher risk from the potential harmful effects. Now, reading through this, something actually feels off, and I'm going to explain it. Get ready for this. A poster on the walls of a hospital in Scotland also refers to biological women and girls as people with internal reproductive organs. Okay, now that's where the insanity would normally be, right? The whole thing of like girls can be boys and boys can be girls biologically. But actually there's something here. Experts said the messaging was dreadful and failed the basic principles of clear health communication and biology. Here's the funny thing. The word experts is being used correctly for once. You'll see, it gets weirder. The poster at NHS Tayside says anyone aged between 12 and 55 should be asked if they are pregnant, irrespective of gender, before undergoing examinations where they are exposed to radiation. Now here's the thing. This is not woke. This is in reaction to wokeness. So the wokeness says that anybody can be pregnant, right? But the thing is, they're not being asked because they're a boy who can be pregnant. What this is implying, what I think they're implying, is that somebody may look like a boy, but actually be a girl. That's why they're asking if they're pregnant, because they're going to be exposed to radiation. So you would think on the face of it, because of our SJW culture, that they're just asking biological boys, are you pregnant, herder? That's not what they're doing. They're asking boys who could be biological females, but maybe they're real trans people, for once, if they are pregnant. You understand what I'm saying? Let's keep reading and find out if that's the truth. A picture of the poster uploaded to Twitter reads, irrespective of your gender, but that's the thing. If you are a biological female who is dressing up as a boy and all this stuff, then they won't know, so they have to make sure. So again, they're not being woke, they're reacting to wokeness. You may be asked to complete a form about pregnancy before some examinations. It is our legal responsibility to establish whether there is a possibility of pregnancy before exposure to ionizing radiation as a fetus. It is at a higher risk for the potential harmful effects. Such procedures can include X-ray scans for broken bones or fractures while CT scans. Medics usually don't recommend these types of scans for pregnant women due to the danger of radiation exposure poses to the fetus unless it is an emergency. So let's read the sign. Now, the only problem here, I don't think it's a problem to ask a person who's trans if they are a biological woman, because you may not fucking know. It is a problem, though, with the age. 12? 12? 12 and pregnant? Look, I understand not taking a risk, but 12 and pregnant? What the... Irrespective of your gender, you may be asked to complete a form about pregnancy before some examinations. It is our legal responsibility... Oh my god. It's the same thing written in the article, but... Only people who have internal reproductive organs have the ability to become pregnant. We check this with each individual and conduct a pregnancy check accordingly. So the language is dumb, but not the concept. You see, only people who have internal reproductive organs. The poster makes no mention of women, girls, or females of any kind in regard to the risk of undergoing a scan while pregnant. Yes, because they're trying to respect people who are biologically female but identify as men because they're trans. Again, we're not talking about people who are SJW and just identify however they want because they feel like it. We're not talking about those people. We're also not talking about transgenders. We're talking about real trans people with real gender dysphoria. For example, let's say that there is a female trans person who is a biological male, right? We're talking about a biological male. But they are fully done their transition. They are a woman. They are a fully, changed woman. And they look like a woman. And you look at them and say, that's a fucking woman. Let's say that she goes in to get a scan, okay? They look at her and go, oh, well, that's a woman. Please fill out this pregnancy form. The trans person would then say, oh, no, don't worry, I'm a biological boy. That's the whole point. It's not about being SJW. It's about respecting those people and vice versa. Stella, the psychotherapist and founder of campaign group GenSpect, said the poster was unfit for purpose. Again, it's written kind of poorly, but it's not necessarily wrong, for once. Over-the-top and elaborate efforts to be inclusive for certain groups often end up excluding other groups. But it's not, though. It's not, though. Because what if it's a person who is a biological woman who is fully trans and they now look like a boy? Are you going to just ignore them because, oh, wait, they look like a boy, therefore they don't need to fill out the pregnancy application, and then later you find out that they actually were pregnant because they're a biological female, and then boom, you just killed the kid because you gave them radiation. So it's actually not as dumb as they're claiming. Like, what the fuck? The NHS should revert to simple and clear language if they want to help the most possible people. But being overly clear is disrespectful to real trans... Again, I'm not trying to be an SJW here. I'm saying you are disrespecting real trans people. Because now let's say that it is a biological female who identifies as male, right? And it says, if you are a woman, please fill out the pregnancy form. As you are a woman, please fill it out. But they are trans with real dysphoria and identify as male. Aren't you disrespecting them by saying, oh, sorry, I know you have dysphoria and you're a real trans person, but fuck you anyway. You know what I mean? I think what the sign should say to indicate all of this is that if you are a biological woman, regardless of how you identify, regardless if you are truly trans, fill out the form. That would be the simplest way of doing this. So again, the concept is not wrong, just the wording is. This purpose of this poster is to keep patients safe from harm by warning pregnant females that there are dangers in exposing themselves to certain treatments. But this poster is not fit for purpose because it is pretty incomprehensible. People who do not speak fluent English will find it difficult to understand this poster. I wonder who decided their needs were deemed less important. Okay, so now you're being an SJW. We've gone from the respect of trans people to saying, oh, what about people who don't speak English? So you're now you're just grasping at straws. Doesn't that apply to any sign? What about a wet floor sign? Does it apply to that, you stupid fuck? What the Ms. O'Malley also said she was worried about the impact of these questions on boys undergoing serious medical treatment. But again, if they're a biological female, how would you know? Granted, if they're 12, you would know, because I would hope at that fucking point they wouldn't be on any hormone replacement therapy yet, because 12 is way too fucking young. Therefore, you would know what they are just by looking at them, because they haven't started treatment yet, which is why I find the age way too young. But I understand the consideration, because, again, this is not wokeness. This is reaction to it, because, again, 12 is too young, and any rational person would say, okay, we don't need to question a 12-year-old. We know by looking at them, because they would hopefully not have started treatment yet. However, considering that SJWs want 5-year-olds to transition, I wouldn't be surprised if a 12-year-old really does look like the opposite gender. Just saying, it's reaction to wokeness, not actual wokeness. We're often at our lowest EBB when we're sick. Young boys undergoing cancer treatment don't need to be asked if they are pregnant. But the thing is, unfortunately, these days they might because of SJWs wanting 5-year-olds to transition. So by the time they reach 12, they may look like the complete opposite, from boy to girl or girl to boy, and therefore you might need to ask. And also, pedophilia is on the rise these days. Would you be surprised anymore if a 12-year-old was pregnant? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Because of woke SJW culture and pedophilia becoming normalized, I would not be fucking surprised if a 12-year-old was pregnant. I wouldn't. Honest to God, I fucking wouldn't be surprised. Sorry. She accused the poster's authors of wrongly implying men can get pregnant as part of their desires to use gender-neutral language. But they can if they're biologically women. It is also factually inaccurate because males have internal reproductive organs, e.g., vas deferens, prostate, urethra, etc. Parts of the male reproductive system, like the prostate and internal organs, they technically meet the criteria of those who can become pregnant according to the poster. No, they don't. Just because men have some things internal, such as the urethra, for example, doesn't mean they can get pregnant. Everybody knows that a urethra can't carry a baby. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is it. I can't believe I'm defending it, but that's not what the poster says. Jenny, an expert in midwifery from Coventry University, said the poster was a dreadful example of health communication about such an important issue. Using the term internal reproductive organs is so unclear, she said. Yeah, I agree with that. Again, I'm only defending the concept, not the wording is bad. It is bad. It should say biological woman. It should say if you have a uterus. That's what it should fucking say. Many well-educated women do not know the basics of their own biology and would struggle to know what were the internal reproductive organs, she said. Well, I would hope that intelligent people are aware if you're talking about internal organs and pregnancy, you should be able to synth those two things together to come out with the word uterus. Then again, it's 2022. Maybe people are that fucking stupid. Okay, there's a lot of repeating itself in this article. Wow. Okay, it is not the first time men have been asked if they are pregnant by NHS staff. Yeah, and that would be definitely annoying if you're a biological man being asked. However, they may not know if you are identifying and dressing and looking like a female. And again, here we're talking about the wording. They were asked if they were expecting a baby because the word female was replaced by individuals. Yeah, again, the wording sucks, and they should be more specific by using words like woman or uterus, but the concept is not wrong. It just isn't. But again, don't just say to them, "Are you having a baby?" Say, "Hi, are you a biological woman?" And if the patient is offended by that question, then tell them to get the fuck out. Honestly, that's the best way to solve this problem. Every single patient say, "Hi, are you a biological female?" If the SJW reacts like this, "How dare you ask what I am biologically?" Blah, 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 then I would respond by saying, "Okay, go have your MRI, and if you are pregnant, the baby will die from radiation. That's what you have to do if you don't want to fucking tell me. Okay, the doctor's waiting." Done. Fucking problem solved. That's exactly what I would say. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, summary is, sign is written poorly, but it's technically not wrong. Okay, bye.